All right, so most of us know the story of the Red Death, right? Prince Prospero, the doomed masquerade. But have you ever wondered what happened right before all that? Well, we're about to dive into this really powerful little story, a kind of prologue to the main event. And it's a parable that gets right to the heart of something we all wrestle with, our relationship with time itself. So, our story here doesn't start inside that fancy sealed off abbey. Nope, it begins right here at this quiet stream. And it's this fateful and, surprisingly gentle encounter that really sets the stage for everything that's about to go down. And this is the question that's at the absolute heart of this whole parable. What can a dying man's watch teach death itself? Think about that for a second. This little silver object and the kid who owned it, they're about to reveal something profound. They give our silent visitor this new, sharp clarity of purpose right before he crashes the party. Okay, so let's paint a picture here. You've got this young man totally obsessed with his future, right? He's mapping out this long life he's gonna have. And then he meets a traveler, a silent, kind of weary traveler who, let's just say, has a very different take on what time is all about. You see, this young guy isn't just nervous, he is absolutely burdened by it. The text calls it the spirit of gravity, which is just perfect. He's basically a slave to the very future he's trying so desperately to lock down. And because of that, every single tick of that watch isn't a promise, it's just a source of dread. And the end here isn't violent at all. The source material describes it as, well, as a release, a touch without malice, like a quiet wind. And in that silent moment, the little mechanical heart of the silver watch does the exact same thing as the human one. They both just slow down and then stop their frantic ticking. It's almost like the boy is finally freed from his own anxious heart.
So the boy is gone. He's finally free from that race against a sun that always sets too soon. But the Red Death, he's left holding this little silver trinket, and he just contemplates it. And in its silent, still face, he sees a really powerful symbol. What he sees is a symbol of a life completely ruled by fear, a life obsessed with duration. How long can I make it last? Instead of intensity, how brilliantly can I live right now? And that's the whole ballgame, isn't it? The difference between just existing and actually dancing with your fate, even if it's just for a moment. Yeah, this really lays it all out, doesn't it? It frames that core philosophical conflict of the story. On one side, you've got the last man. That's our villager, a total slave to the clock. And on the other, you have this ideal of the overman, the master of the moment. One is busy measuring life, while the other is actually living it.
Okay, so here's the crucial point, right? According to this parable, our clocks, our calendars, they don't actually control time. Not at all. They're just walls we build, little partitions to contain our fear of the unknown, to give ourselves this illusion of control over something that's actually vast and cyclical and totally untamable. And once he gets that, it leads him to the central parallel of the entire story. The Red Death realizes, you know what? This fearful villager isn't some one-off. In fact, he's a perfect, miniature version of someone much, much more powerful. He's looking at that silent watch, and it all just clicks. The boy's frantic winding of his little silver toy, and Prince Prospero's arrogant, grand ceiling of a whole stone abbey, they're born from the exact same thing, the exact same fear.
And this just illustrates the argument perfectly. One guy builds a fortress of minutes, the other a fortress of stone. One uses a little silver watch, the other a massive, booming ebony clock. But look, whether it's small and trivial or grand and gilded, they're both just cages. Cages built out of a deep terror of what the story calls the flowing river of existence.
So now that silent silver watch becomes way more than just a memory. It's a prophecy. It's the small, quiet symbol of that great, booming ebony clock he knows is waiting for him inside the abbey's walls. You see, that grand clock in the abbey, it's not just there to tell time. Not in this story. Here, it's a philosophical herald. With every single deep, echoing chime, it's going to deliver a terrifying message to all those partygoers who think they've actually escaped their fate. So what is that terrifying message? Well, it's this philosophical idea called eternal recurrence. And the basic idea is this. To truly, fully embrace life, you have to be willing to live every single moment, the good, the bad, the ugly, over and over again for infinity.
So by trying to run away and hide from their own end, the partygoers are proving that their big yes to life, it's all a lie.
So this whole encounter by the stream, it's given the Red Death's journey a brand new, super sharp focus. That silent watch isn't just a trophy anymore. It's become a compass, and it's pointing him straight toward what the text calls the absolute noon, that final, unavoidable moment of truth for Prince Prospero and every single one of his guests.
Okay, so now he's got the lesson. His purpose is crystal clear, and the Red Death begins his final approach to the Abbey. And the whole story just shifts gears. It goes from this philosophical daydream to, well, an absolutely unstoppable movement.
And I absolutely love this description. His movement isn't framed as some choice he's making or some evil act. No, it's presented as an inevitable law of nature, just like gravity itself. He is a heavy stone falling, and no human wall, no tiny watch spring has any hope of ever changing that trajectory. So this sequence right here, it just crystallizes his entire journey. You have the lesson from the villager's fear, which transforms the watch from a simple object into this powerful symbol. And that symbol sharpens his focus on the target, that arrogant Abbey. And it all leads to this climax that now just feels completely pre-written, totally inevitable. And this is the ultimate lesson he carries with him as he walks. Prince Prospero's grand defiance, his impenetrable walls, his thundering clock. At the end of the day, it's no different than the villager's trembling hands winding that little silver watch. It is just a larger cage for an equally frightened soul. And so the parable leaves us right here with this lingering question, because the story isn't really just about a prince or a villager, is it? It's about all of us. We all build these little fortresses against time, our schedules, our 5-year plans, our ambitions. And the question this story leaves us with is a simple one, but it's profound. What are your fortresses made of?